Hello everybody and welcome to That's Football. The topic today is Mo Salah, the diving cheat. Is he diving Liverpool all the way to a Premier League title? We'll be talking about that today and getting your thoughts, but I want to just start off and say straight away, as a Manchester United fan, I can only give a Manchester United angle on this, but this is something that we've had for many years over the last sort of decade with Ronaldo, Ashley Young as well, with diving. And I think what I find quite funny, because we saw it with Ronaldo and we saw it with Ashley Young, everybody witch hunts the player. And I'm like, get a life, girlfriend, because why are you going in on Mo Salah? What is Mo Salah doing wrong? Is he diving? Isn't he diving? I don't analyse Liverpool matches enough to really give a shit, to be honest with you. But what I would say is, what is he doing wrong, even if he is diving? Because surely the issue here is with the referees. What happened with Cristiano Ronaldo? What happened with Ashley Young? They were accused of diving. The mainstream media went in on them. They were accused of diving and referees stopped giving them penalties, even when, on replays, it looked like it was a penalty because they got a reputation as being a diver. Now, what's happening with Salah, I didn't even watch Match of the Day last night. I was watching the American Office because I was like, United game, I watched it. I'm not really bothered about that. And I don't really want to watch Liverpool get late winners. So I wasn't that bothered about watching it. But what I would say is, without watching it, I don't really give a shit if Salah dives or not, because I haven't seen anything in the mainstream media over the last few weeks making an issue of it. Now, if that was back in the Ronaldo day or the Ashley Young day, I guarantee it'd be on every paper. United diving their way to the title, this, that and the other. And that is where the frustration should be aimed at. It's the authorities and the media, because I haven't seen enough about Salah diving to even think, well, he is diving. So, and also on top of that, let's be honest, if Liverpool are taking advantage of something that won't be around next year, because what's going to stop players diving? I've said before about Eden Hazard. Eden Hazard would be diving in the box if he could get in the box. Chelsea can't get in the box at the moment. And Eden Hazard, with his Beyonce big booty, he'd be knocking that into everyone and going down if he could. So, look, a lot of footballers do it. Pogba yesterday, I think that was a stonewall penalty, but some people said he made a deal of it. But there was contact. It was reckless. And there's three issues with diving, right? And none of it's the player's fault. One of it is the mainstream media. If they are fed up of diving, then they need to make an issue of it, because the media is very, very powerful to the powers that be, because they don't like negative press. Two, referees. Referees, for me, are the biggest thing. You telling me that, Mike Dean and everyone like that, when they're not a Premier League referee, they're sat knitting in the garden, not looking at the media, not analysing their performances. If the main football fan bases are talking about Mo Salah diving, then most referees in the Premier Leagues will be aware of it. And if they're not going into a game thinking, I don't want to get conned by diving, like they used to do with Ronaldo, like they used to do with Ashley Young, then they're idiots. And I think a lot of referees in the Premier League are idiots. I think they are really, really stupidly naive. And to be honest with you, there should be part of them thinking, Mo Salah's getting a lot of penalties for Liverpool. If he goes down in the box, I'm only going to give a penalty if I'm 100% sure. And that's the point. That's the thing about penalties, free kicks, this, that and the other. Referees can't speculate. They cannot speculate. They have to give a decision by the letter of the law if they're 100% sure. So every one of these penalties that Mo Salah's won, the referee's given it. So the referee has to be 100% sure in their mind that it's a penalty. And that is despite, over the last few weeks, Salah's had a few penalties. But over the last few weeks, a lot of fans have been saying he's diving. So those referees know that there's speculation that he dives, but they're still giving penalties. That's where the blame should be laid here. That's where the blame should be laid. If you think Salah and Liverpool are diving their way to the penalty, blame the Premier League, because that's where the decisions are being made. They're being made by the referee. Salah don't dive and pick the ball up and say, I'm having a penalty for it. The referee gives it. Dia says that the corruption's overwhelming nowadays, Mark. Well, I can't talk about that. Dapo says, hi, Mark. Do you play your supporters at FIFA or plan to in the future? Maybe, but I'm not talking about that at the moment. But yeah, possibly, mate. I won't be playing FIFA today. It's my son's christening, so I'm going to be having a few beers and enjoying that later. But Zeiston says, I blame Salah, no self-respect. I genuinely do not blame Mo Salah, Paul Pogba, Marcus Rashford, Anthony Martial, Eden Hazard. If they take a tumble in the penalty box and get a penalty, I genuinely don't blame them. Liverpool have not won a Premier League title for 30 years. Next season, you can't dive your way to penalties because VAR's in. This is the last 4 months you can get away with taking a tumble in the box, manufacturing a penalty. And you know what? I'm not gonna. I personally, I'm not interested in the is Salah a diver or not debate. It's not what I'm bothered about. I find it funny when fans go in on players individually, because we had it with Ronaldo, we had it with Ashley Young, and I think if those players are clever enough to manipulate a referee to give a penalty, that's that's part of the game, and it's going to go with VAR anyway. But what I would say is that when a player's doing it a lot and being accused of diving a lot, then the authorities need to look at themselves. How can you blame Salah for keep doing it? If he keeps doing it and keeps getting away with it, who's the idiots? Yeah, the fans get frustrated, but the idiots are the authorities and the mainstream media for not making an issue of it. Liverpool FC fan says he's not diving anyway. Maybe, look, all I'm talking about is something that a lot of people are talking about on social media. I haven't analysed every penalty of Mo Salah's. I don't know whether he's diving or not. What I'm saying is, fans who are blaming him are ridiculously naive. You don't blame the player for getting an advantage for his team. You blame the powers that be for now allowing that to happen. And they obviously don't think he's a diver because they've given him loads of penalties, and the evidence would be there to analyse the first penalty and say, yeah, he's taken a few tumbles. The referees get memos every Monday from the Head Referees Association, and they'll say, these are the things you need to be looking out for this week. And if Salah's been diving for a few weeks, they will get a memo probably last week, the week before, saying Mo Salah's taken a lot of dives. We're giving him a lot of penalties. It's getting us bad press. You need to keep an eye on him. You need to keep an eye on him. And maybe that has happened, and maybe he isn't diving. But what I'm saying is, people who go after the player because they're a diver, I think, well, I just don't really. And maybe he has won them enough points that he's going to win the title, but it won't happen next season because VAR can't do it. But I think that I've been in this situation as a Manchester United fan. We've had it with Ronaldo, and what happened with Ronaldo is because I'm sorry, Liverpool, Arsenal, Chelsea, Man City, you're not on the level of Manchester United in relation to media stories. You don't sell as many papers, you don't get as many clicks. Manchester United are headline news all the time. So if you get remember that time when Rooney smacked somebody off the ball and it became a big incident and the FA acted? That happens probably 3 or 4 times a week in the Championship and in the lower Premier League, but no one makes an issue of it because it's not Manchester United. And as I said, when Ronaldo was accused of diving, I can remember Lineker now with his little snidey face. Oh, Ronaldo's at it again. Let's have a look. And they make a big issue of it. And then referees watch it and they're like, I ain't getting done by a United player diving again. I will not give a penalty. And Ronaldo didn't used to get a lot of genuine penalties in the end. And it happened with Ashley Young as well. But that's not happening with Salah. So I don't know, maybe that's evidence that he's not diving. But I think people who get angry about it, fortunately, Man City fans would probably be the ones who get angry the most, but there's not many of them. So we don't need to worry about that. But United fans are getting worried about it. And I'm thinking, you know what? As a United fan, I'm just happy with what we're doing with Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. I'm really happy that we've got our club back because we were in a mess under Mourinho. And if Liverpool win the league, then they're going to deserve to win the league as things stand at the moment because they are up there with Man City as the best team in the league. And I hate to say that. I hate to say it, but they're not. Look at the result yesterday. Palace were ahead in that game and they got back level and Liverpool still won it. Man City played Palace, had plenty of time to even get a draw and they end up losing. This is why Liverpool are top of the league. And I don't think it's anything to do with diving or anything like that. So I just think people are getting very angry and frustrated about something that actually I've always been a defender of of players. If you're running into the box, like the Harry Kane incident last week, a couple of weeks ago in the League Cup with Chelsea, people saying, oh, he dived. Right, the goalkeeper's coming running out towards you, you knock the ball past them and you jump in the air to take a bit of contact and yeah, it's simulation, but the goalkeeper's reckless. If Harry Kane just does a natural run, he may end up with 2 broken ankles because of the speed that the Chelsea goalkeeper's coming out at. Plus also, that would be ridiculously stupid. I've done it at football all the time. If you see a tackle coming in, you take a little bit of a jump, you take a little bit of contact than full contact, it's still a foul. You're taking advantage of the recklessness of the defender. And that is something that people call diving, but it's not. A dive for me, and Ashley Young's done it a couple of times, is you see a tackle, you go down with no contact. That's a dive. If you see a reckless tackle and you take a little bit of contact, that's a penalty. And that's clever. That is, well, I disagree with you. John Brown says there's a difference between inciting the challenge and out diving, which is cheating. Exactly. I agree with that. If you see a reckless challenge coming in and you take a bit of contact and a penalty, you're taking advantage of reckless defending. If you generate a penalty that's not a penalty by diving, simulation, that's cheating. Simple as that. And I don't have a problem with with simulating the recklessness. So yeah, I don't. And the most important thing is the defenders. These defenders, if you know that Mo Salah's likely to go down in the box, what are you doing putting stupid little feet in there? You know, just stand him up. Stand him up, keep him off getting a shot in a metre away. But they're not. You know, these players, I've seen it. Saw it with Pogba yesterday. People in the box, they're thick, they're stupid, they're reckless. They'll chuck a foot in. And I'm sorry, if you chuck a foot in the box and you don't get the ball, and I'm attacking, and I see you go put a foot in and you've not got the ball, and I go, right, my ankle's having that penalty. What's the referee supposed to do? It's a penalty. I think people think that's diving. I think people think that if a defender tries to tackle someone and they miss the tackle, and then the attacker then just trips over that foot, that's diving. It's not. There's been a reckless act by the defender to unsuccessfully get the ball, and then the attacker has taken advantage of it by taking it. And I actually don't will stop that being a penalty either. It is simulation, but it's clever simulation because it's not cheating. The defender has made a reckless act. They've missed the ball. The attacker takes advantage of it very cleverly by nicking their leg. It's smart play, like Liam says, but people think that's diving. People think it's diving when you go down with contact. Look, you know what? If you push me in the street, I'm probably going to maintain my balance and keep walking, right? If you push me in the penalty box, I'm probably going to go down like a butterfly's fart, soft. I probably am, because I'm going to get a penalty for my team. And that could be the difference between 3 points and 1 point. And that could be the difference between a title and not. And I don't condone any player doing it. I don't condone any player not doing it, to be honest. Zenon says, only one was a dive with no contact. 2 or 3 were soft. The rest were stonewallers. But rival fans get the idea that every penalty now is because he dived once. Just a punishment for reckless defending, says Pradnya. Exactly. I think it is. I think people are making a mountain out of a molehill because they're getting worried. But I also just want to summarise, I don't think it's fair to go in on the player. I think it's down to the refereeing. I think it's down to reckless defending. And I think it's down to the mainstream media. And we've seen it with Ronaldo and Young at United. And we stopped getting penalties. Salah's still getting them. So there you go. There's obviously, they obviously are penalties, whether they're soft, whether it's clever simulation. I just think that people think if somebody leaves a foot in and you go over it, then you're diving. As I say, I think the prime example was Harry Kane a couple of weeks ago against Chelsea, where he knocks it past the goalkeeper. The keeper's reckless. Harry Kane takes the touch, goes down. It's a penalty. That's a penalty to me. That's not diving because you jump over the tackle and take a little bit of contact instead of getting your legs broke. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Anyway, thanks everyone for watching. Bit of a debate point there for you on Sunday morning. Get your comments in below. Please do drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new, and I will be back at 8 o'clock tonight with the United Stand. See you later.